In today's video, I'm going to be making tomato and pepper soup. I'm going to need chopped tomatoes, garlic cloves, 4 tomatoes, 2 red bell peppers, 1 vegetable stock and 1 large onion. I'm going to start by chopping up the onion. Taking the ends off, cutting those off because we don't need those. Now I'm just in the process of slicing my onion. I will be dicing it like in the previous videos, but I'll just show you again just in case you haven't seen. If you haven't seen, check those out. And here you can see I'm just chopping the onions up, dicing them, ready to go into the pot. So I'm nearly finished chopping up the onions now. Just those last few bits to go. And then I'm going to have a nice pile of onions ready to go into the pot. Firstly, I'm going to be adding about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there. I just give it a little freehand drizzle. And then I just put the onions and add those in as well. Then we're going to make a start on the garlics, and again I'm going to be crushing those garlic cloves down so it's easier to take the skin off. And then I'm just going to be chopping up the garlic cloves finely. Now I'm going to be just chopping up the garlic cloves. I want them to be nice and fine because you don't want to be biting into any of those. There we are. So I'm nearly done chopping up all of the garlic cloves. So what I'm going to be doing with them next, they'll be going into the pot with the onions. Now I'm just going to pop the garlic into the pot with the onions. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to give that a good stir, ensuring that it's all going to be cooked nice and evenly and that it's not going to be burnt. So that's why I'm giving it a good stir and making sure it's all covered with the oil. And then I'm going to be starting with the tomatoes. So firstly, I'm going to be halving the tomatoes. So I'll do that to all of them, as you can see. And then once I've halved the tomatoes, what I'll be doing is I'll just be slicing them lengthways. We don't need to dice them because they'll be going into the blender later on and it will all be blended up together, so it's not necessary. And as you can see, I'm just slicing those up, ready to go into the pot. Now it's been added, you just want to give that all a stir so the tomatoes cook as well. Now I'm just going to be starting with the peppers. I'm going to be cutting those in half first, and then I'm going to take the middle section out because they're not needed and de-seed the pepper. Now that's done, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be again slicing the peppers lengthways. You don't have to do this too evenly, it can be done quite rough because, as I said with the tomatoes, it's going to go all in the blender later on. You just want to make it easy enough for yourself to cut. And then once you're done with that, again, you will have a nice pile of red peppers. And now I'm just going to be, again, throwing that into the pot. Just scrape that all in, making sure you don't make a mess. And then you want to, again, give that all a good stir around so it's cooking evenly, making sure that you've done that. Continue to give that a good stir. And then whilst I do that, I'm going to be getting my vegetable stock ready. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 450 mils of boiling water. That's what I had to use with my vegetable stock. Just follow the guidelines that are on the side of your vegetable stock. So you pour that into a measuring jug, and then I'm just going to add the stock cube into my water, and then I'm just going to give that a good stir so it dissolves, ready to go into the pot with the rest of the ingredients. There we go, just throw that in. And then I'm just going to be giving that all a good stir together and make it sure that it's all nice and combined and really, really brought together. I'm just going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes and put the lid on. Now I'm just going to give that a check. That's looking really good. That's how I want it to look. I'm putting in the chopped tomatoes. Just throw that all in, making sure you've got all the contents out of the tin. And give that a good stir, making sure it all comes together. Now, I'm just going to be adding in the salt. And then just a bit of pepper as well can go in the mix. You want to make sure it's nice and seasoned well with the salt and pepper. And give that all a good stir together to make sure that the salt and pepper are really mixed well within the ingredients. Now that I'm done stirring, I'm just going to put the lid back on and let that simmer for 5 minutes. Okay, let's have a check now. There we go. All the contents, as you can see, they're looking quite nice and soft and nice and tender. That's how I want it to look. Now that the sauce has cooled down, I'm putting it into my blender cup, ready to be blended. You can use a handheld blender if it makes it easier for you, if you have one of those around. I just find it easier to put into the blender cup so it does it very quickly. Doesn't take much effort to do at all. I'm now just going to give that a blitz in my food blender, as you can see. And I just give it a few times, and then it's just by look and how I want it to look and how satisfied I am with the final result. And as you can see by the final blitz, I am happy with that. And here we have the final result of the tomato and pepper soup. Hope you enjoyed. If you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.